Anyways, somebody asked in Discord, are we going to go to Ignite in Seattle? So that is coming up, Scott. I have started seeing a few more things for this. And Ignite in Seattle appears that registration must have just opened, because I did just start seeing a bunch of stuff
just in the last couple days.
Yeah. So it's in Seattle again, similar to last year, November 17 through something, 14 through 17. So kind of that 3-day, 14, 15, 16, 17, but I don't know how much is on the first day and the last day. I don't see a session. But there is an early bird deal right now, $1,500. So this may be cheaper than last year. I think last year was like $2,000, and they have a buy 3 get 1 deal going on. So if we find 4 podcast listeners that all want to go, we can buy 3 and get 1 free. On the website, they do have like the comparisons between Seattle in person, and it is going to be digital online again. So 2 different options to go, but are we going to go, Scott? Are you going to go? What is your thoughts? I know you end up in a different boat working for Microsoft a little bit, I think.
Yeah. I mean, as of right now, I have no intention of going. So I think Ignite, like taking it back for a second, Microsoft used to have a bunch of conferences, and there was things like Ignites, and there was Tech Readies, and there's Builds, and they all kind of focus on different audiences and different skill sets and things like that. And over time, Ignite's kind of turned into like, hey, it's the one conference that, rolls everything up, and it's marketing, architecture, technical deep dives, all those kinds of things. Like, hey, what's the in-depth kind of technical content that I can get across this stuff? And for better or worse, as the more technical conferences have gone away, Ignite is kind of a marketing event. I think holistically, right? If you look at all the sessions that come out, it's and very much so. Like, this is the way it should be. It's like, hey, here's what's new. Here's what you might have missed in the past 6 months. Heck, here's what you might have missed in the past year. All those kinds of things like that. So for me, and I would probably argue for somebody like you, like, we tend to keep up with the news, right? It's part of the job. So I don't need 85-90% of the content that's there. Like, I'm already going to get it or consume it in some other way. So I don't know that it's worth $2,000, because that's really what it's going to be, right? It's going to be $1,500 plus. You and I are on the East Coast. Like, that's easy, a $400 plane ticket to get to Seattle. Probably another $500 to $1,000 for hotel in downtown Seattle, given rates and things like that. So really, it's like a $3,000 trip. Like, we've easily doubled it. I don't know that it's worth $3,000 for the hallway track. Unless there's some other like major reason to be there. And I think you can get a sense. So one of the things Microsoft does every year with Ignite is they also release, I don't know if you've ever looked at these, the email templates that they put out to give to like your manager to justify the cost or things like that. And I find that to be a good way to go out and just see like, hey, what are they at and what are they doing and how are things going to look? So I went out and downloaded the one for this year. So, it opens up like, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. I would like to attend Microsoft Ignite on November 14 to 17, 2023 at the Summit Building in the Seattle Convention Center. Microsoft Ignite is where I can participate in world-class training and technology demonstrations that provide insights into Microsoft's innovations with AI, so I can gain invaluable skills to maximize my impact within our organization to accelerate innovation and productivity. As a technologist, I run into like slight issues with that stuff, right? Like I get that you have to do demos to show people things, but you and I have talked a bunch about how we're more hands-on kind of folks. So I'd rather have like a deep dive, like 2-day lab, right, on something like, hey, here's how to use OpenAI in Azure, and you're not going to get that out of a 15-minute demo session along the way. So that's kind of like how it opens up. Great. We're going to look at Microsoft's innovations with AI. If I'm not interested in AI, like I'm already, potentially off the cuff. Next paragraph. Attending in person will allow me the additional benefit to connect with Microsoft engineers, partner executives, and other technical decision makers, IT implementers, developer leaders, and data and security professionals. Ooh, that's quite a sentence. But basically, you're going to interact with the PG who is going to be giving sessions, like the engineering groups, and then all the other attendees out there. More importantly, this is a massive opportunity for me to engage with hundreds of industry experts who will be on site ready to answer any questions about the Microsoft technology we use daily. Additionally, participating will allow me to dive into topics like security, data and AI, infrastructure, cloud native and hybrid, business applications, and more. Choose from over 140 interactive learning sessions containing in-depth technical content relating to the breakout and discussions I plan to attend. Be the first to learn about emerging technologies from Microsoft leaders and connecting with experts to get answers to questions I have specific to our environment and the following ongoing projects. And then they say, hey, you should insert your projects, environments, and all that stuff kind of here. So if you think that you're looking for dives into topics on security, data and AI, infrastructure, business applications, and more, that you're not going to be able to see those online. I would argue like the major stuff, you're going to be able to see all that online, right? Like not to take away from the in-person experience, but like this is a hybrid experience where you've got 2 days virtual, where people are effectively getting the same content. At least they're seeing the same sessions. But like if you're there in person and I'm not, you absolutely have an opportunity to go ask additional questions, talk to those speakers, attend maybe roundtable sessions or other stuff that I couldn't as a digital attendee. Is that worth $1,500 to me? I don't know. Some of the other stuff like, hey, be the first to learn about emerging technologies. Again, everybody's going to hear that at the same time. It comes out in the book of news. The keynotes are all streamed, all that kind of stuff, right? So I think it's hard in like this virtual world to justify some of it. Like it is. It's tough, and people need to rationalize it and justify it. So for like me personally, unless my employer is paying for it, I don't know. Like personally, I can't justify $3,000 just to go and do the hallway trek.
Yeah, that's interesting. I will say I think you end up in a little different boat than I do, because there are, not saying you know everybody at Microsoft, but being internal, you definitely have access to some of those people that are a little bit harder for others to get access to. Yeah. And I would say even as an MVP, there's also some access that I'm able to get, some of the news that we see ahead of time that does make it harder. I would say my cost too goes up even more than that $3,000, because for me, it's also 4 days of not working. And when I'm hourly and I don't work for 4 days, not only do I have to pay $3,000, but I also don't make X number of dollars because I'm not working those 4 days. I will say I am probably leaning myself towards not going yet this year. A couple reasons. One, previous years before they went to this whole hybrid thing and it was the big 20,000 person in-person conference, they had media events. I mean, in all transparency, we got to go as part of the podcast. And to your point, we didn't have to pay for registration. We still paid some of our own expenses, but it did make the cost a little bit more feasible. But also the size of the conference. Like one thing that stood out to me in that email you read is over 140 sessions. There's a reason they didn't say over 150 or over 200 sessions. If I remember right, like the Ignite of old, there would be like over 2,000 sessions or 1,600 sessions. 140 sessions to cover all of the different technology and stuff, to me is not very many. And I start wondering, and again, the session catalog isn't out yet, is there going to be enough sessions that I'm interested in? Or to your point, do I care about the sessions? Maybe not, because you and I both tended to go for the hallway track. We'd go find people to interview for the podcast. We'd go interview Microsoft employees about different products, about different announcements. We would like do stuff from keynotes and all of that. With this hybrid scenario and with it being in Seattle, we know it's not going to be a 20,000 person conference. Is there going to be enough people in person to make that hallway track worth it? And enough people that, to your point, you want to talk to or I want to talk to that we can't just talk to already? But other companies, other people that maybe this is your one chance to actually like go corner a Mark Cashman or a Dan Holm or Caruana or some of those Microsoft employees that you hear from all the time and you want to actually talk to them in person. This is a good opportunity to do that, assuming they're all going to be there in person. And I know that was one piece of feedback from last year that I don't know that I've seen addressed yet, is there were a lot of those speakers that were still virtual last year. Is this going to have more in-person interactions than last year? Or are you going to go expecting a bunch of in-person product group interactions and they're not actually going to be there? I think that's something else that you have to weigh.
I don't know. Like you and I, before we started recording today, we were talking about like the Apple event from yesterday. And like one of the things I like about watching the Apple events is just seeing the production value and like what they put into it and how they produce it. And that's very much like a byproduct of the pandemic and things like that. Like employees have moved away, they've gone remote. Like if you can record your session from home, or frankly, even if you're in Seattle, right, like where Microsoft is based in Redmond, and you can drive over to one of those production studios and shoot a slick video for your session, and your session's got to be broadcast online anyway. Like I can't fault companies for going down that path, right? It's in their best interest to kind of put their best foot forward and then have that material to be reusable all over the place. So I think you've seen that as well. Hey, people might not show up in person because they already recorded their session, a couple weeks before, and it was all produced and ready to go and ready to be streamed online.
Yeah.
The other place this is super valuable, and I tend to forget it. Earlier, when I was asking about containers, you said like, oh, I don't do a bunch with containers. And maybe that's something that's not in my ecosystem. There's a lot of folks out there who are especially like not senior leadership, but even like ICs that tend to like be super cross-cut when it comes to how they deploy Microsoft technologies. And sometimes I forget this. Like I was talking to a customer the other day, and they're trying to do like blah, 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 secure something in their storage account. And it's like, ooh, you're like totally thinking about this wrong. Like you're thinking about it from the lens of like just a storage account is this thing. You've got this whole other ecosystem of tools that's available to you, right? Like it was a data exfiltration conversation.
Okay.
And it's like, well, you're already a Microsoft customer, right? You have Microsoft 365. You have DLP in your environment. Like in the case where you're trying to collect get your clients to where they need to be, like it's very likely you either have client controls rather than just wholesale blocking like fully qualified domain names in the Microsoft environment to make your applications work they need to, and to make you feel as a company like you're secure and where you need to be. But because I was talking to the storage people, they didn't necessarily recognize, and I can't fault them for this because it's a very wide ecosystem, that there's all this other tooling and stuff that's out there, right? So conferences like Ignite, like it's not an Azure conference. It's not a Microsoft 365 conference. It's a Microsoft conference. So it's kind of covering the width and breadth of the entire stack that's out there. And I think that can be super valuable and helpful to folks. Again, you've got to rationalize like in person versus in person versus just attending virtually. So I think another consideration there is the dates are a little bit weird. So the dates for in person are the 14th to the 17th. Those are not the dates for the virtual conference. The virtual conference is 2 days, which is the 15th to the 16th. And without session catalogs out yet, like you said, this is hard to figure out. What's the value add for those extra 2 days? Like, is there something in those 2 days that's really going to make it worth your time? I don't know. We're still 62 days. As of today, we're still 62 days out from Ignite. It's going to take time for the session catalogs and things to come out. So you got to weigh like, ooh, do I want early bird pricing? Do I want regular pricing? I don't know what it'll be, but let's say it's $500 more, $2,000. Like, you have to wait for session catalogs and things like that to come out.
What I will speculate, I'm going to make some speculations here that at least the first day, so you said it's 14 through 17 and 15 through 16th, that 14th, if you go look at the comparison of in-person versus online, and we'll put this link in the show notes, it does say that there's optional pre-day labs, and those are an extra $225 per pre-day lab. I'm going to assume that those pre-day labs are on the 14th, not like the dates they specified. So that if you're going, and I was going to go look at a calendar here because this will probably tell us. 14th is a Tuesday. Like, that's what I don't know. Because, the pre-day labs could be on Monday. I've seen them do that before, and the conference actually starts on the 14th. Is there going to be additional sessions? Are those just days where you can go do, like, they do have some live in-person interactive labs or in-person demos.
Keep in mind, you pay per lab as well.
Yes. Do you pay for lab?
Yes, $225
so that's
fee
the
per
pre-day lab. Is that the interactive lab, or are they going to have, because I know before at Ignite they've had like lab areas where you can just go sit down and work through labs, or they just have a bunch of machines set up. It's not a in-person guided lab. It's a computer guided click, click, click type of lab. So I wasn't sure if that's what, although in-person interactive, I wasn't sure what interactive labs were, if those were the same as the pre-day labs, because they're two different bullet points.
It's the problem with marketing, right? Like, I think you and I are folks who look for clarity here, and unfortunately, that clarity is not going to come for like another 45 days.
Yeah, they do have.
We'll see what happens.
There is an evening celebration. There's no attendee party like attendee parties of old, it appears, but there will be an evening celebration. So you do get. There are some added benefits to going in person. I think to your point, it's just weighing, is the cost worth it, or shoot, if your employer will pay for it, go for it. I think there's absolutely still going to be value in person. I find way more value in person. I just don't know if I find that much more value in person when they're still doing hybrid. I would love to see this go back to the massive conference. I would definitely be more likely to go once I see this show up as like a Vegas conference, an Orlando conference, a Chicago conference, Atlanta, one of those 5 big cities.
I want to see it in like Munich or London or Paris. Heck, let's do it in like Israel. Like, you can do like Ignite Tel Aviv and get it done. Even that stuff has slowed down. So, it was a little buried on the Ignite site. I'll put a link in the show notes for everybody to that download, the Convince Your Manager letter. Like, if you want to take a look and see if that's something like, if that's the path that anybody wants to go down, and you do need to kind of justify that and get it going. But yeah, Ignite is out there
Yeah.
and kicking around. We shall see.
That we shall. And I'm with you. I just needed clarity, especially 60 days out. I feel like this is the time to buy plane tickets. I don't want to buy plane tickets a month out. But I need more clarity before I would be willing to commit to the pricing, I think. So we'll see. We'll keep everybody updated if we change our minds.